What's up guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Casual Avenger, and in this video I want to talk about Spider-Man coming to Marvel's Avengers and everything we expect to see when he is released. Now I'm honestly super excited for Spider-Man to finally come to this game, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on what to expect as far as his gameplay, whether he'll be a bit older or if he's still a teen, and could we possibly still see a villain come with him. Now the first thing I want to speculate on is just what version of Spider-Man we'll see here as far as age and who I think will be providing the voice or who I would like to see provide the voice more so. Now my personal preference would be to see an older Spider-Man here, not like 30s or 40s, but maybe mid-20s. Maybe he's been in college maybe a year or two, and he's been Spider-Man for a couple years at this point. And I know this is a bit of a stretch, but I would really like to see Chris Barnes come back and voice him. And if you're not familiar with him, he did the voice for the 90s animated Spider-Man, and honestly he's always been my favorite voice of Spider-Man. And if you've ever watched the 90s animated show, you know he's a spectacular actor, and he really delivers emotion and things like that very well for the character. And I just always felt like he did a better job as a older Spider-Man for me personally, like a guy who has problems, things don't always go his way, things like that. But on the flip side of that, if we are getting a teen Spider-Man, I would definitely be okay with the casting of Josh Keaton as the voice. I thought he did an amazing job in the Spectacular Spider-Man, and he's also done an older Spider-Man in the Shattered Dimensions game, so Josh Keaton as the voice would actually be an absolute win for this game. But they could surprise us and go with a casting that no one really saw coming, or an actor who's never actually done the voice of Spider-Man but would fit perfectly for their version, and I'd be interested to see that as well. And we also kind of get a hint from one of the developers over on the Discord, and he had this to say: well, for me it just sounds like a Spider-Man, not anyone in particular, but just that boyish kid vibe. I dig it. Now, when I hear something like that, obviously it's not super conclusive, so you don't know either way. Like, that honestly can hint towards an older Spider-Man or a teen Spider-Man. But him saying he has a boyish kid vibe, for me it just kind of puts me more in the mindset of this is like a 20-something-year-old Spider-Man, or is that's how I want to interpret what he said. But honestly, I'm excited either way. So there's no version of this where I'm disappointed, unless he's like super goofy acting like the Ultimate Spider-Man that they have on Disney. That's like the only thing they can deliver that would honestly just turn me off to the character completely. Also, I did a poll over on Reddit asking players there if they would prefer to see an older Spider-Man or a teen Spider-Man, and surprisingly most of them said they would prefer to see an older Spider-Man. And I think it's because most people are just kind of over the teen Spider-Man that we've been getting from just different TV shows and the MCU and everything. And so now I want to hear what you guys think. Do you prefer a teenage Spider-Man, or would you prefer to see an older Spider-Man? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But moving on, I want to talk about what I expect to see as far as gameplay from Spider-Man. So as far as gameplay, I'm talking about his traversal and his fighting mechanics. So as for traversal, how would his web swinging work? A lot of players are expecting him to do like the cloud swinging, where his webs don't really have to attach to anything. But a lot of people are also speculating whether his web zipping will be similar to like Black Widow and Hawkeye, because that really doesn't feel the best in the game. And will they improve those mechanics for his character specifically, and later improve them for Black Widow and Hawkeye down the line? And that's important to a lot of people, because you definitely want the character to feel the way he's supposed to in the game, even if it is their version. And Crystal Dynamics actually addresses this in their first blog when they first announced that Spider-Man was coming to the game, and this is what they had to say. To make sure this team up goes smoothly, Vince Napoli, our lead combat designer, is hard at work making Spider-Man just as great on the sticks as he is on the page. This means making sure our hero moves and fights like he should, no matter which one of our war zones he finds himself in. When he's arcing through the air, we want you to feel graceful and light, and be able to utilize a variety of web configurations and gadgets to enhance your traversal. Spider-Man's impressive abilities will complement the experience, allowing you to seamlessly transition from navigation to combat. And we also get some insights as far as his traversal from Dan over on the Discord. He had this to say: Spidey will need to have some unique traversal skills to work well. He will have distinct traversal to him. It won't be crazy new stuff, but yes, he will have new traversal mechanics. But we have to take into consideration other heroes as well. It's not a Spidey game, it's an Avengers game. Traversal for Spidey will be on par with other heroes and have a few of his own tricks as well. Black Panther has his own unique wall crawl traversals, so will Spidey. If you can go places we did not intend, go for it. So my takeaway from all of that is we will have a lot of the mechanics we expect to see come with Spider-Man. I think his web zipping will be a lot better than what we got from Hawkeye and Black Widow. I think he'll probably be able to zip line a bit farther out, and it should go a lot faster than what we get from those two. So I'm excited to see how that actually works and turns out in the game. And as far as his web swinging, I honestly don't see them allowing him to swing on the clouds. I just don't see them going that direction because of what they said balancing wise. And from there, I want to talk about his attacks and his heroics in the game. We don't get a lot of insight or speculation from blogs or developers or anything like that, so all of this will be pure speculation on my part. But some things you just expect to come with Spider-Man in any game where you get to play as him, and these are the things that I really think should definitely be included with him when he arrives. And the first idea that I came up with was just his ability to switch between web types in the game, like going from basic web shooters that either web up enemies or they're like impact webs, so they cause damage when they hit them, and from there being able to transition to like shock webs or something like that. And his third one could possibly be like web bombs, so you just similar to Insomniac's web bomb, where you just shoot an enemy with one, and when it explodes it webs up the group or whatever other enemies are nearby. Just simple things like that I think would really work well in this game. As far as his heroics, I think again they should take inspiration from like the Web Blossom attack from Insomniac's game, where that could just be a combo finisher here, where he jumps in the air and spins around shooting up webs, and just webs up whatever enemies are nearby and sets them up for like quick takedowns and things like that. Or it also could work as his assault heroic, again for crowd control and easy takedown setups and things like that. I'd also like to see something like the Spider Bro drones included as his support heroic, and I think it can pretty much just function similar to Black Panther's Kimoyo beads, where it has two functions, like you can call it out and have it attack enemies, or you can call it out and have it, restore health for you and your teammates and things like that. And for his ultimate heroic, I can see them making like giant web weapons, like a giant web ball or a mace or something like that, where he can just do a massive amount of damage to enemies by swinging that around a couple times. Or if they want to go a different direction, I think using his battle focus attack from Insomniac Spider-Man could work here, similar to how Captain America's Brooklyn Brawler works, where he would have enhanced damage and maybe he has a larger window for dodging attacks and countering and things like that. As far as his intrinsic ability, I think they obviously are going to go with the spider sense, where he dodges faster and kind of counters a little quicker than some of the other characters, because that's kind of like a trademark staple of Spider-Man. And again, the battle focus signature could work here as well. And lastly, I think another cool feature that could be introduced with Spider-Man and possibly rolled out for other characters later would be air takedowns. It might be a long shot, but I think this would be a very welcome feature in the game and would be a step in the right direction for takedowns, hopefully leading towards like team takedowns and stuff like that in the future. And the last thing I want to speculate on is whether or not he'll actually come with a villain, and what villain do I think it should be. Honestly, 100%, I don't believe he'll actually have a villain included with him, based on what I'm hearing from the people who actually data mine the game. They haven't been saying they've seen a new enemy introduced in the game for him or anything like that. And at the same time, I don't think this development team has the resources right now to just pull something like that off. It seems like it's been a struggle enough just getting Spider-Man here, so to ask them to bring a villain along with them, I just don't see that happening. But if we were to get someone, I know a lot of people think like the Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus or maybe even Venom, that would be a great direction to take it. But I think with the way this game works and the story they're telling, I think to keep it small would make the most sense, especially with him being relegated to only one platform. I think it just makes the most sense to just introduce like a very low tier villain for him. So I would go with somebody like the trapster. He uses different gadgets and things like that, and I can see him working for Monica or AIM in general, and that being the cause of Spider-Man coming across the Avengers, because they are investigating him at the same time, and Spider-Man just happened to catch him in the middle of one of his schemes. So I think that will work narrative wise, but like I said, honestly, I just don't see them including another villain with Spider-Man's release, because he's only coming to one platform, and that just seems like an extra amount of work that this team just doesn't seem capable of doing at this point. But those are my thoughts on it. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. But I'm gonna end things here, guys. You guys let me know what you expect to see from Spider-Man and Marvel's Avengers down in the comments. And if you're interested in hearing other ideas I have for future characters and content for the game, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It definitely helps out the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.